Hey guys, it's Nikki here, and I'm here today to talk about one of my favorite fall things, and that is watching Over the Garden Wall. It is a cartoon by Cartoon Network that came out, 5-6 years ago, and I've been watching it every October since I found out it existed, which has been maybe 1 year less than it's been out. This year I also picked up, This year I picked up some of the graphic novels to read to go with the Cartoon Network show. This is actually super interesting in that they are not sequels or prequels, they are complementary kind of paired media, in that the comics are expanding upon the things that happened between each episode in Over the Garden Wall. There's something about it that I just really enjoy. I think it's a mixture of like the fairy tale stories, the whimsy because you have this very childlike filter over everything. The animation style and the voice acting are both very, very good. And I'll go into them a little bit more as I get into it here. But I just want to share this with you guys in case you haven't heard of it, because I do have a very deep love for this and I just really enjoy watching it and now reading it. And the guy who created it also created Adventure Time, so he has just like this really solid ability for storytelling, which I can really appreciate. And so I wanted to break it down or summarize it, and honestly it ended up being harder to pick this apart to figure out what exactly I like about it, because I feel like I just like all of it. But I'm going to start with the really easy things. The art style. The animation style is very smooth. It makes me think of Adventure Time, obviously, but it also makes me think of kind of those old-timey cartoons like the really early Mickey Mouse and Betty Boop, and just like the fluidity that they had and like the spaghettiness to some of the movements, which sounds weird, but if you the weird spaghetti flaily-esque movements of their arms is specifically what makes me think of the old-timey cartoons. Also, the other thing that makes me think of it is just the art style. It has that kind of sketchiness but also smoothness to it that really feels, what's the word I'm looking for? Not toothsome or wholesome, but like it has that just that old-timey feel to it, and I'm really struggling to get the right words here. So I'll move on. The second is voice actors. I think they all did a really good job. I love Elijah Wood as Wirt. He did such a great job doing the broody preteen boy who's a huge nerd. And then two of my favorite like older actors, Tim Curry and John Cleese, were both in it. They did amazing jobs with their characters, and I think the characters they were given really played to their strengths as actors. It reminded me a lot of other roles that they had fulfilled that I thought they did a really good job in. And honestly, just like I said, overall they were excellent. I just had those three that were like specific favorites of mine that I enjoy a lot of their work, and it was really exciting to see that they were part of this. Third thing I like about this is like the overall plot structure. I am a big fan of like entry-based or log-based storytelling, and I feel like this like episodic storytelling is, I think, the phrase I'm looking for, and you get that in spades here as well, because it is a traveling story and you know things are happening between episodes, but the story is being told in these episodes, and each episode has its own minute story that just helps push the overarching story forward, and it was just really enjoyable, and I loved the adventures they went on. They were weird, they were creepy, they had like this really weird folk tale, fairy tale feel to them. So there was a sense of whimsy, a sense of magic, but also this like underlying creepiness and hopelessness. And that just did so much for me in terms of tone. it added so much to their journey for me. And then 4, as I mentioned, I liked the tone, the way the fairy tale kind of folktale-esque storytelling was playing out in front of you. And that leads me to talk about the tone and the atmosphere in general. So I loved that you had a little bit of filtering just with both main characters being pretty young. The entire cartoon had this very childlike filter over it. So while the adults are doing some really bizarre things, some of the things they refer to are very adult topics. And to me, this childlike filter adds a sense of whimsy to things, especially in the context of the adults that they're running into. You get just that sense of whimsy that keeps it from being too scary, but you also know that there is an underlying threat based on how these people are acting. So you have obstacles that are by turns silly and frightening because the childlike filter is keeping it from being too dark, but making a lot of the things the adults do just seem absolutely out there. An example of that, making it seem a lot more out there, is there's an episode where you meet a school teacher and she's kind of bemoaning a lost love. And just the way she talks about it is not as childlike as you would expect, but it comes off as being ridiculous and jokey because the person watching at that point is the younger brother who's interpreting these events. Whereas you get another character, the woodsman, who comes off as being a lot more threatening because of where you meet him, and just that filter of being lost and scared makes him that much more intimidating. All of these things that I love are consistent between the show and the graphic novel. It's unreal to me that they were able to convey the same tone, the same emotion, the same storytelling across both mediums. And really, it ultimately just comes down to I like and love so many parts of this that I can't help but want to promote it. I'm sure everyone, I'm sure so many people already know about this, but I want to talk about it because I love it. And there's just so much in here that I want to find in other books. I am doing a video related to that, but if you guys have any suggestions, please let me know below. I would be more than willing to add them to my TBR or talk with you about them because there's so much that I like here, and I'm hoping that the way I broke it down will allow you to understand what I liked, and maybe, like I said, just tell me if there's anything else good like that I should read. I'm going to leave you here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.